Welcome to the Intentional Awakening Podcast with your hosts, Kathy Brewer and Terrie Huberman.
Well, hello there, and welcome to the Intentional Awakening Podcast. I'm Terrie Huberman.
And I am Kathy Groover, your co-host, and we will start this episode as we do with every episode, with me remembering to hit the timer. And an angel card. Let's see. Today's angel card is, this kind of goes with what we're going to talk about today. Education.
Nice.
Cultivate your ability to learn from life's rich patterns. You may not be able to establish the curriculum, but you can elect what courses to take at any given time and how to apply your knowledge. And it is oh my God, it's an angel it's an angel standing on a cloud, and then going off the sides are more clouds, and there's an angel sitting at each cloud at a desk, and then there's a little library.
That's what the Akashic Records like, everybody.
It's an elaborate one. Wow, that is
funny. Wow.
Oh yeah, they're all sitting at little desks and clouds, and there's a map. There's a map
God.
of, I don't know what the hell that's supposed to be, because I blew it up, and a bookshelf, and the angel who's teaching has one of those like professor caps on with the halo over it.
Oh my God, that's so cute. Who comes up with
adorable?
That's hilarious.
I don't know, but it was very, very adorable. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about education, but we're going to be talking about education through our bodies. And I've been doing body work since I was a kid. Terrie and I have talked before about feeling things in your body that are either blocked energy or emotions that are coming through physiologically to us. Gabor Mate talks a lot about accessing the wisdom of our sub and unconscious through the body. So that's what we're going to talk about today, because Terrie had a really cool experience before we got on the air this morning.
Yeah, and I was telling Kathy about it, and I don't know how many of you guys have experienced it. And I have to say, this particular experience just did not feel good. I started to feel this tightening sensation, and there was sort of this panic feeling that went along with that tightening sensation in my solar plexus. Now, I had just finished meditating. Actually, I was doing breath work, and I just had it come up, and my first thought was, oh my God, right? Panic. Because that's really what it felt like. And why would this happen right after meditation, right? But I remembered, because I have to apply this stuff to myself as well. I'm not exempt, and anything that I say, I have to follow, right? I can't just do it. What is that saying? Do as I say, not as I do. Whatever. I have to follow my own advice. That's what I'm saying.
You got to walk the talk.
Walk the talk. Thank you for making that a lot more accessible, Kathy. And I realized, so one of the things that meditation does is it allows for an enlightenment to come through, right? So without making it too complicated, there's fast moving energy and slower moving energy. Slower moving energy is typically felt in the body. Higher and fast moving energy is not typically felt in the body, but it's considered light, because that's all they can really measure in science is light. So what happens is the light comes down and it starts to break up all of the slower moving if you want to call it dark energy. So it breaks it up. So when you're in meditation, you're allowing higher vibrational frequencies to come in and kind of hammer away and chisel away and break up the lower vibrational frequencies that you can feel in your body, just because they're moving at a slower pace, so your brain can detect the energy. That's all that's happening. So I had to remember all of this. Like, I'm so grateful that I learned how energy works and why it does what it does, so that when things like this happen, I can remember, okay, this is what's happening, because we have a human and then we have a non-human, and sometimes the non-human talks to the human, and then the human gets all frazzled and is like, what the hell's going on here? And so that's basically what was happening, and it was so physically uncomfortable for me. And so I just started saying, okay, well, what is all of your practice and what has all of your learning told you, Terrie, to sit in the discomfort of that feeling. So I had to sit there in what felt like panic and this tightening in my stomach. And it took about 5 minutes. So it wasn't fast. But what I did was I leaned into it and I focused on it. So I felt the feeling, the physical discomfort, and I focused on it. And I said, okay, you do whatever you need to do. I really don't like this. Again, you don't have to like this, right? You don't have to like anything. But it's in a way, it's an acceptance of the fact that it was there. I wasn't trying to avoid it. I was dealing with it, I guess you can say. And so I didn't even try and put a story to it because it doesn't matter what the story is. What were the facts? The facts is this is lower vibrational energy that is in my body and it's really uncomfortable. That's all I needed to know. So I started to feel it get less and less intense. And then it went away. So it took about a good 5-6 minutes. So I was lying in bed, really uncomfortable, just focusing on my solar plexus area and just going, okay, I'm just going to deal with this. I'm not going to run away. I'm not going to go anywhere. And it stopped. And it stopped. And it was really uncomfortable. But that was my body trying to tell me something. I don't know what it was trying to tell me. And I didn't need to know the what. I just needed to know that it was happening. And because I understand how energy was working, it needed to move through my body because I had energy that was trapped or blocked in that area.
Yep.
And because I wasn't focusing on it, it was just staying there. So as soon as I gave permission to draw my attention to it, it released.
Yep.
That's the best way I can explain it. So I thought, oh, Kathy, have you ever had this, experience this? And she's like, oh yeah. And then I said, Kathy, you do massage. I'm sure you could feel this in people's bodies. She's like, oh yeah. So that's why we're talking about this.
Yes. Good tee up. So I have two different directions that I can take what you just said. The first one is, if someone came to me and said, I have this feeling in my solar plexus, or this physical sensation, I would say, what's the emotion? And maybe it's fear, maybe it's anger, maybe it's anxiety. And I would have you hold on to that emotion, ask if that emotion could talk, what does it need to tell you, and work from it from there. I have 3 ways to do this. The second way is much more NLP, which is it hard? Is it soft? Is it sharp? Is it bright? Is it dull? Is it, put those subcategories along with it. And then we can spin it out, which is a really cool NLP thing where you hold that sensation and you see it and you're like, which direction is this sensation spinning? It's spinning clockwise. Okay, so we're going to spin it counterclockwise. Spin it, spin it, spin it, spin it, spin it, spin it, spin it. Now throw it. And it freaking goes away. Coolest thing. I haven't had anybody spin anything out in a while. And then the other thing I was going to bring in was this sort of Buddhist idea of, so our body feels a sensation and then we go, oh, I don't like this. So we've immediately decided whether it's neutral or comfortable, uncomfortable, positive, negative. Then we do tend to tell a story about it where you said you stopped it there and didn't tell the story. Oh God, the last time I felt like this was the anxiety about my, and we tell this whole story.
Yeah.
So we've gone through all these different levels of experience as opposed to just saying, I have a sensation in my body. The labeling comes, the stories come, the emotion comes, the fear comes, all this other stuff. So there's so many different ways to look at that. And in thinking about it from the Gabor Mate compassionate inquiry piece, which is, what is the emotion that's there? And then he actually did put the subcategories on, is it tension, constriction, heat, cool, flow, vibration, tingling. And then he encourages, apparently I had a headache that day, encourages people to write down using symbols what those sensations are. And he gives you a whole body map and has you do that sort of thing, which can be really, really interesting. So there's my 3 directions that I would take what you just said.
I mean, I had the emotion that I was feeling was panic. So I was aware of the emotion, which was panic. I just didn't know why.
Right.
And from what I teach, see, a lot of times I will deal with like, for example, in my case, I'm not very visual. Like I can't see if you
Mm,
were to say to me, like, okay, what does it look like? I wouldn't be able to describe a lead pipe to you or a box or whatever because I'm not a visual person. I'm so emotional that I
hmm
sense information. So,
Right.
like, for example, I can't see the color blue, but I can feel what the color blue feels like. Not in every day. I can see that you're wearing a brown top, right? But
Yeah.
I'm saying when I'm using my senses or I'm going out of like, into more of the astral or the emotional
hmm
world, not, I can't, I have a very hard time. That's why whenever like in the book that I wrote, I talk about if you can't see things, what can you hear things? Can you smell things? So you can use other senses. So
Oh,
a
yeah.
lot of times those exercises are actually difficult for me because like with NLP too, a lot of it is just visual. So it's very hard for me to connect. So that's why I was like, I need to feel because I'm
hmm
very kinesthetic and then I'm
Yep.
very auditory. So if you were to guide me, which I just didn't guide myself, but if you were to guide me into what does it sound like and what does that remind you of, versus, those are really good. Those are great ways to do it too. But the way that for me, who I'm a very cerebral person, as a lot of my clients are, they're very cerebral. And so when I understand how things are working together and the way the subatomic particles are working, I can go, oh, okay. Like that, it makes it as weird as this sounds, it actually makes the woo more concrete
hmm
because I need that. I'm like, give me proof. I think that's why I really like science. And I'm like, so, I
Yeah.
mean, you're the same way. It's like, give me, show me. Like, don't just make this so esoteric and so non-tangible that I have no idea, what's not happening.
Yep.
So and I think what was in common with all of what you were saying and with what I'm saying is the acknowledgement. I think it's the acknowledgement of the fact that there is um, emotions are energies in motion. That's what an emotion is. So that there is an energy that is going through your body, and sometimes you can identify it as fear, sometimes you can
hmm
identify it as joy, sometimes you can identify it as shame or guilt. The lower, the yuckier feeling ones, you're going to feel more in your body.
Yep.
Uh,
Oh,
just because they
absolutely.
move slower. But it's the acknowledgement. And most of us decide not to run away. So I actually wasn't running away from what I was just going, okay, I know that this is what's happening and this is how, and it's energy. And I just because I can't smell, taste, touch, sense, or,
hmm
with all my physical senses doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
Oh, 100%.
So that's why it's like, I think the key to all this, and you let me know if you feel the same or want to add anything to it, is just the acceptance of it. Now,
hmm
if you're a visual person, I feel like your way, like Kathy's way, and Double Mates and all those other people, like it is the way to go. But if you can't, I think understanding what's happening from just a educational kind of just to bring it back foundation, it's super helpful. I work with people who are very emotional. So sometimes there's so much emotion you can't like there's so much emotion to move through and go through, you actually can't
hmm
identify the emotion
Right.
sometimes. So it's
This
just,
is when this is when I hand people the emotional wheel and I
yeah,
say, you've got to identify this emotion.
and you can have more than one, and that's what causes
Oh,
anxiety is more than one, by the way. So
absolutely.
if you're just having one emotion, then you're just having one emotion. It's technically it's not anxiety. What anxiety is more than one emotion at the same time. So you can feel
Yeah,
joy and you can feel fear at the same time. And
sure.
that's what would cause the anxiety from an energetic
Mm.
perspective because there's
I
too
don't
much
know that
through the
I
body.
don't know that I agree with that because I have felt multiple emotions at the same time and would never have labeled that as anxiety.
Well, anxiety is just excess amount of energy in the body.
Yeah.
So let's say like joy and fear, what is something that can, you have two emotions, what's something that can cause anxiety? Joy and fear.
Yeah.
Going on a date with a guy that's really hot. Is he
Where's
gonna
the
reject?
fear in that?
So exciting. So it's like that can really
Mm,
put somebody into anxiety. And then yeah, so from an
interesting.
empathetic perspective, that's what's happening. Usually
Yeah.
it's more than two emotions, but I'm just saying technically it's more than one emotion is and
Yeah.
there's just so much energy running through the body.
Well, and often there's an emotion that leads to another emotion, and we only recognize the second one. So we recognize the fear, not realizing that the first one was, anger or, whatever it is. And then the problem becomes when we have an emotion about that emotion. Oh, I shouldn't feel that way. God, I hate when I do that. That's also creates problems. But anyway, that's a whole nother topic for another time. So, no, this has been fascinating. So, yeah, if you have a sensation in your body, ask what it is, ask what it wants to tell you if it could talk, ask what it looks like. Hold on to that, because if a little kid comes up to you and says, I just broke my favorite truck, you're not going to be like, whatever, go buy another truck.
Yeah.
Hopefully, you're going to get down at their level and you're going to hold them and you're going to comfort them however it's needed.
Yeah.
And that's what we have to do with that emotion.
Yeah, exactly. It's an acknowledgement. You just can't run away from it. I mean, you can, but it's gonna stay there. It's gonna build and then it's
Oh,
gonna,
yeah.
so there's
It's
no
going to be
point in
big.
that for sure.
Exactly. All right. I am Kathy Groover. I can be reached at kathygroover.coach.
And I'm Terrie Huberman. You can find me at terriehuberman.com. Thank you so much for joining us in this episode of the Intentional Awakening podcast. We'll see you in the next one.
See ya.